We don't know how to deal with our grief. And I'm hoping that with these poems that we can connect through our heartbreak and through our healing, because it's one of the few things I think we all have in common.
We all have heartbreak, and we all have the power to heal. What if heartbreak isn't just something to survive, but something that teaches us how to actually live? In writing the poems in my book, I Am Maria, I set out to go within, to understand myself beyond the roles I've played and the losses I've carried. On this tour, I opened that journey up to conversation and learned even more. I sat down with people I love and admire, my friends, my siblings, my teachers, those who've helped me reflect, forgive, and imagine a more compassionate way forward. Together, we talked about finding your voice, making peace with your past, and discovering the freedom that comes with healing. May these moments invite you to come home to yourself and embrace the fullness of who you have always been.
Okay, this is called the padded door. The padded door, it stood guard, separating her from me. I can see it now so many years later. There actually were two doors that blocked my way, two doors with padded leather and studs and locks, two doors that kept out the noise, two doors that kept me from you. I often banged but knew you couldn't hear. I often knocked but I knew I would be met with silence. Once I saw my brother curled up on the floor outside your padded door. He was crying. He just lay there whimpering. No one heard him. I watched and listened. I looked and turned away. I didn't pick him up. I didn't hold him or calm him. I didn't know what to do to stop his tears because no one stopped mine. I'm sorry I didn't pick him up and take him to his bed. I'm sorry I didn't knock down those doors. I'm sorry for the pain that kept you inside that room, inside your heart, inside your mind. Padded doors locked out so much. They locked me away from you. The padded door, I still see it. I'm still knocking. Can you hear me? Will you ever? That's I have since met, believe it or not, other Irish Catholic daughters whose mother also had padded doors.
Padded doors.
So I'm thrilled to find out I wasn't the only one.
Yeah. Well, because you think padded door, you think mental institution, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then this is a padded door that was her armor and her, like a moat between the mess of life and kids and it all. It was her.
Yeah, and it's made me think about the padded doors that we all have actually inside of ourselves. And when I wrote that, and so many of these poems, you know, I didn't grow up writing poetry. I wrote, you know, journal news pieces. I wrote speeches. I've written testimonies. I've written journals. But when I sat down after I had learned meditation, and I kind of sat with quiet, and I just started to let a different voice emerge from me. And it was a voice that I was really unfamiliar with. And it started writing about things like that were surprising to me. And it then made me think about, where was my padded door? What was I keeping out? What was my responsibility with that? And the padded doors that we all have in some way, because we're afraid, because we don't know how to deal with our grief. We don't know how to, we feel lost, so we put up a version of a padded door. And I'm hoping that with these poems that we can connect through our heartbreak and through our healing, because it's one of the few things I think we all have in common. And it has enabled me to connect with people in a different way, which has been so moving to me. Because I'm usually connecting in almost like a political way or an advocacy way or a mission-oriented way. And this has enabled me to connect and hear people's stories that I'm certain they wouldn't have told me or shared with me had these poems not activated something in them. And that's been the kind of universal reaction of the book. People have come up to me and said, this is my story. This is my experience in life. And that's what's been so beautiful about this experience for me.
Well, a lot of the book is about the end of your marriage to Arnold and the extreme pain and really terrifying emotions, many of which you'd kept at bay. And I want to quote, it's kind of a long quote, but the feelings I felt at the end of my marriage are hard to put into words. I was consumed with grief and racked with confusion, anger, fear, sadness, and anxiety. I felt emotionally bereft and disconnected from life as I knew it. I also felt deeply disconnected from myself, or who I thought I was. I had been with Arnold since I was 21 years old, my entire adult life. I barely remembered who I was before I met him. I was unsure now of who I was, where I belonged, or who I belonged to. Honestly, it was brutal, and I was terrified. So then what happened?
Well, what happened?
You fell apart. You let yourself...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who's been in a long relationship, that was 35 years, it's a long time, 4 children, and you have to pick yourself back up, or you have to choose to pick yourself back up.